Have you ever felt like you're standing on the edge of a cliff, the ground crumbling beneath your feet? That feeling of losing your grip, of slipping into a place of fear and uncertainty. Today, we're going to dive into a story inspired by two powerful verses from the Psalms. A story about a man who knew that feeling all too well. Let's travel back in time to a small, dusty village nestled between rolling hills. Here lived a potter named Elias. His hands, though strong and calloused, moved with a gentle grace. From shapeless lumps of clay, he created beautiful vessels, vases, bowls, and pitchers, each one a testament to his skill. His pottery was his life, his joy, his provision. One season, however, a severe drought fell upon the land. The sun beat down relentlessly, cracking the earth and drying up the streams. The clay Elias used, once soft and pliable, became hard and brittle. When he tried to shape it on his wheel, it would resist, crack, and collapse. Day after day, he failed. The pots he did manage to form were fragile and would shatter in the heat of the kiln. His storeroom, once full, grew empty. Anxiety began to gnaw at him, a constant, heavy weight in his chest. Doubts whispered in his mind like the dry wind rustling through the dead leaves. "You're failing," they said. "You've lost your touch. How will you provide for your family?" One afternoon after another, pot crumbled into dust in his hands. Elias sank to the floor of his workshop, utterly defeated. He looked at his hands, the source of his livelihood, and felt a wave of despair. "My foot is slipping," he whispered to the empty room, his voice choked with emotion. "I'm falling, Lord, and I don't know how to stop." He felt completely alone, adrift in a sea of worry. In that moment of surrender, as tears streamed down his face, a profound stillness settled over him. It wasn't an answer shouted from the heavens, but a quiet, gentle presence that filled the room. A sense of peace began to seep into the cracks of his broken spirit. He thought of all the years God had been faithful, the countless pots he had successfully made, the joy his work had brought to others. He realized that his worth wasn't tied to the pots he created, but to the God who created him. His security wasn't in the stability of the clay, but in the unfailing love of his Creator. It was as if a steady, loving hand reached out and held him firm, stopping his fall. Slowly, Elias rose to his feet. His anxiety hadn't vanished completely, but it was no longer a crushing weight. Instead, it was met by a tide of comfort and hope. The many anxious thoughts still swirled in his mind, but now a greater delight, a quiet joy, was rising to meet them. He walked outside and looked at the parched land. Instead of seeing only despair, he saw a canvas awaiting a new kind of creation. He decided to walk to the high mountains, a difficult journey, where he knew small streams still trickled from hidden springs. It took him days, but he returned not just with new, moist clay, but with a renewed spirit. His hands, now guided by a heart full of trust, began to work the new clay. The pots he formed were different, stronger, more resilient. He etched new patterns into them, symbols of streams and rain, of hope and renewal. The story of slipping but being caught, of anxiety being met with divine comfort. Elias's story is our story. It's a beautiful illustration of Psalm 94, verses 18 and 19. When I said, "My foot is slipping," your unfailing love, Lord, supported me. When anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. Life will bring droughts. We will all have moments where the ground feels like it's giving way, where our anxieties feel overwhelming. But in those very moments, when we feel we are about to fall, God's unfailing love is there to support us. His comfort is a gentle balm for our worried minds, bringing a quiet joy that surpasses our circumstances. So, if you're feeling like your foot is slipping today, remember Elias. Cry out. Be honest about your fears. And then, wait for that quiet, steadying presence. Allow His love to be the firm ground beneath your feet, and His comfort to bring delight to your soul. Thank you so much for joining me for this story. If it touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more stories of hope and faith. We'll see you next time.